Welcome back to the channel. Today is the largest project I've done so far. It's going to be a old lawyer's conference table from Washington, D.C. It's 10 foot long, 3'9" wide, and it's got 6 drawers. There's a little bit of damage to them, and 4 wooden legs. It needs a 5th one in the center, which I'll have to make from scratch because the customer didn't have a center leg, but shouldn't be a big deal making that. This is going to be extremely difficult because of the fact that it's so large, and it's made of, I believe it's oak. I'm going to sand it down and refinish it. He doesn't want a full restoration, which is good because I don't know how to do a full restoration, but stick around and see if we can get this thing knocked out for him. While I've got this flipped upside down, I'm going to take some of these screws out that are pretty well stripped out. They're creating a gap here, also down there, and throughout the whole thing. You can see that the screws are just stripped out. They've pulled through the expansion of the wood. So I'm going to remove all of these screws and countersink and re-drill and try to draw these boards back up tight and get them flush again with the... There's a bad wave on this side. I'm going to try to draw it up. You can see that there, these screws are just too far away from the seam, so I'm going to remove them and move the countersinks to a different location. See if I can get it to draw back up tight before I flip the table over and start sanding some more. I'm having issues closing up this gap right here because my wood clamps are not deep enough to get to the seam and it won't draw the wood tight. I tried to use a panhead screw, it still didn't work too well. It didn't draw up. It sucked it up a little bit, but it gave way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut me a board the length, which is about 39 inches, and I'm going to try to clamp down on it from the bottom and the top. So I'll try that and see if that works. If not, we'll try something else. So that drew up pretty tight. Still about 1/32 of an inch of wave, but I think the screw will draw it on up. This is what I'm going to do. Continue on. I'm going to drill a hole, countersink it, and draw the screws up in tight. I had to get Phillips head screws, even though the originals were flat. This was all they had at the hardware store, but it's the same length. It's about an inch long screw. Countersink them and continue on. My camera went out about this time I was putting this on, so I applied some stripper because there's a couple of, I don't know whether it's oil or some kind of stain that won't it just won't come out. So I'm going to try this stripper. I applied it on there. I got to give it about 15 minutes for it to set, and hopefully it'll suck up some of this stain that's too deep for the sander to go through. So I'm going to try it and see what happens.